7 weeks ago was when we first started to see a decline. So anything you bought prior to that, we know, I know, you know, everybody here in this little circle knows you paid too much. Doesn't mean I have to as the buyer now. Look who's here.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Yeah, but I'm going back to Jersey on Sunday. But we thought that we would record our weekly update together. But before we get started, we got to give a shout out to our man Jeff.
Wait. Before that,
yeah.
If you're watching this, now merch. I know we're doing the live show tonight. It's Halloween. You can see my sister's got like little decorations tonight. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Middle MDT, MST.
And it'll be really early in Hawaii.
Really early in Hawaii. Join us for our first ever live show. We're going to be doing some Q&A. I'm going to be drinking some beer. Maybe you'll drink some beer? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, beer's bad for my gout. But we'll figure something out.
Join us tonight.
I could have some apple juice on the rocks.
Absolutely. And then, yes, Jeff at findthebestcarprice.com/insider, a friend, a family member, not really, a companion. I bought a new shirt recently.
A companion?
No, okay.
Jeez. So if you're looking for the best car price, go to findthebestcarprice.com/insider. Our friend Jeff has gathered up all the customer incentives that are available by manufacturer, and they're all there for you in one place at findthebestcarprice.com/insider.
Okay, final thing, and then we're into the video. The contest winners for commenting on our most recent videos for the If It's Taxable, It's Negotiable merch. Those will be announced during tonight's live show. If you're not a part of the live show, it's fine. We'll still get in touch with you and contact you. But we have the merch. It has arrived.
Yes, I'm modeling.
Let us hop into the reason you actually clicked on this video, and I'll do the timestamps on this one so you can jump to this part. The weekly, yeah, I know, right? I would have skipped it. The weekly market update on new and used cars. We have new data.
It's new, it's data, it's printed.
From Black Book. Let's dive into it, Dad. What are the high-level takeaways this week?
Summaries this week are wholesale prices continued their decline again last week for the 7th week in a row. Average retail listing prices, however, were essentially flat. So a couple weeks ago, retail pricing started to go down slightly, went down 2 weeks ago, went down again a little bit last week, and this week is just flat. So hopefully that really hasn't plateaued and will continue to go down. You would think that it should, since wholesale pricing has declined for 7 weeks in a row. One would hope that retail pricing would decline the same number of weeks in a row, but so far it's 2 and stuck.
Well, does that speak to one of the things that we've learned is that the wholesale prices move about 5-6 weeks before the retail prices?
Yes.
I've got to imagine, you tell us from your experience back in the dealership, if I bought a bunch of cars 5-6 weeks ago that were really expensive, I'm going to sit on them at least a little bit longer and see if I can get someone to buy them at a price that I think is going to help me break even or make some money versus taking my loss on it, right?
Well, yes, a lot of dealers would, but I spoke to my dear friend Chris the other day, and Chris was telling me he's informed the used car managers at their various stores that even if they have to take a really short used car profit right now of maybe $500 to $800 on a given car to do it, because wholesale prices in his area where he's been buying have declined enough that he can replace that car for maybe $1,000 to $1,500 less than the car that they were selling. So he has seen a significant drop in wholesale pricing. Nationally, the drop doesn't seem to be quite as significant, but when you're seeing half a point drops up to a whole point every week, well, that adds up to quite a bit.
No, definitely.
If it's 4 weeks of a half a point drop, you're talking wholesale values went down 2% in 1 month.
Yeah.
I can't do the math, but 2 times 12 is 24. I don't see them dropping 24%, but wholesale prices have definitely dropped. Retail prices haven't caught up yet. The dealers are sitting on their older, overpriced and overcost inventory, trying to get some money out of it before they actually reduce those prices and replace those cars with cheaper ones.
Which kind of gives me an idea, and I don't know if there's any validity here, and I'm interested in your 2 cents. We haven't talked about this, but I wonder, like we recently, you can now get access to the market price report I'll put the URL up on the screen, link down in the description, the Your Auto Advocate app. And one of the things that we talk about, like in the negotiability scores, the longer a vehicle's been on the lot, the more likely the dealer is to negotiate on it.
Yes.
I almost wonder if vehicles that were bought 45 days ago, 50 days ago, at the height of wholesale used car price insanity, if a dealer would be more willing to actually negotiate on that car right now because they're in so deep on that wholesale cost.
The smart dealers would.
Like what you mentioned before.
Like what they're doing at Chris's dealerships. Stubborn dealers would not. They're gonna try and base what they sell the car for on what they bought it for, and what they bought it for isn't reflective of what the market is today.
No.
So a smart dealer takes all that into consideration and would rather take a shorter deal and get that cash so that he can buy a different car at a lower cost point, so that he can sell it at a lower retail point. It just makes.
But I think if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, I want to go buy a used car, test that theory out. Let's actually see, because I'd imagine if you can find some vehicles that were purchased, or the dealer listed them 50 days ago, there's probably an incentive to try and move that because they're in very deep. I mean, we were talking
and
about...
there's two incentives for trying to move it, because most dealerships are on a 60 to 90 day turn policy on their pre-owned cars. So if they've been sitting on this car for 50 days,
they want to move it regardless.
At some dealerships, they only got 10 more days to sell it. Other dealerships, they have 40 more days to sell it. But either way, the value of it isn't going to go up. The value is only going to continue to go down. So if you find something that's been on a lot for 45, 50 days, 55 days, even though they paid too much for it when they bought it at the height of these crazy prices, they should still be in a position where they would recognize that it makes more economic sense to take a shorter deal so that they can go out and replace the car with a less expensive car.
I don't know how it'll play out in practice, but if you go into a dealership and you use that exact train of thought and that logic, it might work in the sense that you know it's taxable, it's negotiable, and I also know you're in deep on this car. You bought it at 105% of MMR 45 days ago. That's compelling.
It's compelling, especially when you're speaking their language.
Yeah.
When you're speaking to them in a language that they would understand, that shows that you comprehend how the market works and what has happened and what has transpired over the last 7 weeks, and let them know, hey, Black Book has the information. It's available out there. Anybody can see it. 7 weeks ago was when we first started to see a decline. So anything you bought prior to that, we know, I know, you know, everybody here in this little circle knows you paid too much. Doesn't mean I have to as the buyer now, but you did as the buyer then. Let me help you get that off your hands, turn it into some cash so you can go buy a cheaper car.
I know you want to move on, but just one final thought on this.
No, I was hoping to stay here all night.
Well, you're the one staying at my sister's place, so I think you are staying here all night.
Well,
I'm going back tomorrow. The other thought that I wanted to mention was, it was on the tip of my tongue. What was it, Dad?
I couldn't tell you.
What was it?
Don't know.
We're moving on.
Okay. Where did you want to go from here?
So one thing I wanted to mention is that another week of wholesale prices and retail prices buttressed.
Yeah. Anyway.
Buttressed by, really being sustained by trucks. So we still have not seen, I looked at the data and I'll put it up on the screen, breaking out the price declines type by type of vehicle. Compact cars, I think, declined actually week over week on the retail side over a point, 1.39%, something like that, versus some of the different segments, like when you look at the truck information, which we'll put up on the screen now, the declines have been much less steep. To your point, everything's kind of stabilizing in that regard. And so it's still the same story. Depending on what you're interested in buying, you can find better deals or worse deals. And again, that's kind of being driven by demand and what people are interested in.
And trucks. I mean, your future brother-in-law has since they bought their house. Your sister and your future brother-in-law have spent the past couple weekends buying things off of Craigslist and needing a pickup truck
like that,
to go bring this stuff to their house. And so now he's on this kick where he thinks he needs a pickup truck, and that's what's driving the value of pickup trucks up. the fact that people who don't really need them think that they do because, I don't know, they bought a couple things for their house. I don't know. I can't talk them out of it at this point, but I'll do my best.
Yeah.
Some other things of note. We mentioned that the retail prices have stabilized a little bit. The GMC Hummer EV, the reservation started last week, sold out like instantly.
Yeah, and we did that video, so watch that video where we talk about all the different EVs. We'll link it. It's super easy when we're back together. You just link it right up there.
Yeah, right there. And the wonderful thing is you know, that's an everyman's electric vehicle pickup truck because it only comes in at $112,595. I mean, who couldn't afford to buy that?
Yeah, exactly.
The New York Auto Show this year has new dates, August 20th to the 29th. So I think they're hoping by then that we'll be through the pandemic enough that, well, I don't know, it can have a real auto show and not a virtual auto show.
That is for 2021. My dad is referencing.
Yeah, well, that's, well, we've already passed August this year.
Tomorrow's Halloween. Today's Halloween.
Happy Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. Good trick-or-treating to all of you. What comes next? We're starting to see an incremental influx of used inventory coming into the marketplace. Oh, and one other thing that I forgot to mention, and some of the viewers have mentioned it in the comments, Hertz has decided to no longer be selling any used cars at their used car facilities. I guess they realize they're a little short on rental vehicles, so they're going to keep running those sons into the ground. And from what I gathered from some of the comments we've gotten from our viewers, they're charging way too much to rent a car right now. So not only aren't you going to get a nice car, but you're going to pay too much for the car you are going to get.
And I think it's worth mentioning that here at the end of October, we're coming up on the new manufacturer incentives for the month of November. We anticipate that manufacturer incentives on new vehicles will probably be strongest in December. Those will come out, obviously, in that first week of December, so stay tuned for that. On the new car side, the story is still the same. There's not enough supply. It's actually really telling when we run the market price report for any new vehicles, and feel free to do this back at yourautoadvocate.com. It's no longer get early access. You actually can access the app now. And run a new car in there, you'll see the negotiability scores are all like under 50 because there's just not enough supply.
Yeah.
We had a commenter, Dad, who said a Kia Telluride here in Laurel, Maryland. We're not in Laurel, but we're
close enough.
We're close enough. $8,000 above sticker.
Yep.
$8,000 above sticker.
You get to pay $8,000 for air just for the privilege of being able to say, "Hey, I bought a Kia Telluride," and that $8,000 disappears like that.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, seriously. It's a killer. One other thing I wanted to mention, and I verified this with my buddy Chris.
Yeah.
When it comes to lease returns, they are keeping every lease, if they're the grounding dealer for a lease return, and by a grounding dealer, what that means is when your lease is up and you return the vehicle to a dealership, whatever dealership you're returning it to, that's considered the grounding dealer, and in 99 times out of 100, that grounding dealer is keeping that car because it's an easy way for them to get used car inventory right now, and those cars are absolutely not making it to the auctions, so they're not available for other dealers to bid on. And Chris told me that that's exactly what's happening in their dealerships, and he said, I think what he said was that at the Toyota dealership, they don't lease enough cars. And so they're not getting enough lease returns to help supplement their used car inventory. So they're concentrating on teaching their staff the importance of leasing cars to vehicles to customers as opposed to selling them.
Just to like prevent this from happening again in the future.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's an easy way to plan for 3 years from now.
Yeah,
seriously. It really is. Yeah.
All right, Pop. So I think we covered our bases. As always, the Black Book report. The Black Book report is linked down below in the description. The research is free and it's available to the public. And so, to my dad's point earlier, reference that if you're going into a car dealership this week.
No, don't. No, because if you reference it, then there's no need for you to watch us.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Watch us, reference us, but know that we're getting it from really reputable sources. We can't come up with this stuff on our own.
I could make stuff up, but I'd rather give you the real info, and that's what we're doing.
All right, Pops. I feel like the people that are watching this want to see us, like, I don't know, like a little hug or something. I mean, we're together. It's kind of
Good to see you, Hanson.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Love you, man.
Love you too. Thanks for watching.